Alright guys, so everybody knows I like to test my weapons and my blades, and if you watch my TikTok recently, you are going to know that not only do I have this post out here for testing, I just bought this to test, so we're going to do that right now. Alright guys, so everybody knows I like to test my weapons and my blades, and if you watch my TikTok recently, you are going to know that not only do I have this post out here for testing, I just bought this to test, so we're going to do that right now. Thing's pretty darn good for a $15 machete. We're gonna have more cut tests coming soon, but it's pretty good. Pretty impressed. 15 bucks, pay like $14 for this. Pretty damn good. The other thing I like to come out here and test is this combat axe right here. This thing I bought off Amazon, also pretty cheap. It's just super fun to play around with, you know what I mean? Just as a note, one of my favorite weapons, let me back. Just as a note, one of my favorite weapons is, in fact, the katana. And one of the things that I do like about it is that the back of the blade, it's not double bladed, which means you can actually use the blade, the spine as a tool to move or push or get leverage. If you go to hit and it's coming back, you have this here, this leverage here. Now, it's not quite that way with this one. That's why I'm not a big fan of serrated. If I was to hit something and it bounced back and it's gonna hit me, it's gonna cut me. If I go to brace, it's gonna cut me. So basically, as a saw blade on the back, that is the only thing about this machete that I'm not a big fan of. I love the size, I love the weight. So far, I love the edge retention. I love the handle and the handle guard that stops my hands from sliding up onto the blade here. So I do really love that. But that is one disadvantage that has. When I bought my combat axe, this is actually the axe that I chose. They gave the option of a double bladed axe, meaning this type of blade on this side, both sides. I chose the hammer on the other side. One, because of utility. I keep this thing in my car. Utility of hammering and hitting with it. The other one being the basically the same thing as a sword. If it comes back, if it bounced off of something like a tire that I'm training with, or combat wise, if it theoretically, if it bounced and came back, bounce back, you're cut, is versus just being hit with the hammer, right? So that's kind of why I chose this one instead of, just a regular old double-sided. That's kind of where I'm at. And that comes down to personal preference. I mean, there are plenty of people that love training with double-sided, double-edged weapons, and there's definitely a use for them. But for me, this is just what I prefer because it's much more useful for the type of training that I do, I guess, so to speak. And I'm going to show you just the amount of damage combat axe or machete both can do. If we look right here, look at this. I mean, that's from the machete. This is the second swing of the combat axe. I mean, it is in there. Look at that. And I'm barely putting any weight into it at all. So, as far as this video, you might look at me and be like, oh, what is even the point of this video? Well, point first and foremost that I want to make is, first of all, if you're going to have a weapon, it can't just be a show weapon, meaning it sits on your wall, you never take it off, you never look at it, you never do anything with it. It can't be that, because then there's no point. There is no point. There's a very famous samurai named Miyamoto Musashi. That is exactly what he said. You can't have just a show weapon that you've never used, you never train with, you never do anything with. There's no point in collecting weapons for the sake of collecting weapons. Different weapons have different purposes. That's why I collect different ones. But the thing is this, you must be good enough to train and use all the ones that you have. That way, when the time comes that you need to use it, you can actually use the weapon that you have versus having no real knowledge of it because you've never actually handled this weapon. The weight of this one is going to be different than the sword, different from this combat axe, going to be different from a lot of things. The way you use it, the chopping motion, the way the axe gets stuck in the wood sometimes, the way that you can't use the back with this, like I was saying outside earlier. I mean, there's just different things you need to consider when you're training weapons, and it doesn't just go for weapons. It goes for everything that you do. Hands, feet, elbows, knees. You know what I'm saying? That as a martial arts mindset, all those skills are perishable. You must use all those skills, and you must train with them daily to be able to use them to your fullest extent and to be proficient in them, right? And so that's really what I'm doing here as far as what I'm doing here in the area that I'm in right now. That the training that I'm doing is weapons right now in this video. That's really what you're doing, is training and using them to the fullest extent that you can. And you do that by repetition, by just training over and over and over. Learning how to swing your hips, learning how to slice, learning how to hack, learning how to stab, learning how to poke, learning how to switch the blade without changing hands, learning different angles for different parts of the blade. I mean, there's just such a big world to that. And that's not even really even scratching the surface of it at all. So push come to shove, the point is, whatever you have is good enough. Use it. Get out there and train with it. Train with it every day. You've got to stay sharp. Literally, you've got to stay sharp, and you've got to stay dangerous. Thanks for watching the video. If you made it this far and listening to me yap. Now that I have you at knife point, go subscribe.